we've got to together find a way to compel all of us to accept our hypocrisy, be kind about it, and then create the solutions that allow us to move our society forward, allow us to keep our beaches and our oceans and our mountains and our forests, and then look to the sky and follow our dreams to travel to Mars, to travel to the end of the solar system, to travel out to Alpha Centauri. That all comes when we study ideas. That all comes when we consider the physics of reality, and we stop running away from hard science. Like, let's make the future.
Ever since he became an adult, the silent meanderings of Matt Schultz's imagination have been giving birth to works of monumental art. He had a vision of a new creature in sculpture, a titanic project, a thread connecting unexplored heavenly bodies to the Nevada deserts where he grew up. A humpbacked whale floating above the surface of the Earth. Matt has christened it the space whale. He's been exhibiting his giant sculptures in an off-the-wall event. A bewitched marriage of futuristic music, contemporary art, and hedonism in the heart of the desert dust. Burning Man. The gestation period of the humpbacked whale in the depths of the abyss is 11 months, but Matt has given his crew only 10 to give birth to his creature.
Wow. This is insane. This is fucking insane. Why did you guys let me do this? What is wrong with all of you? You're supposed to be giving me good advice. You're my friends. You're supposed to tell me not to do this. You're supposed to give me medical assistance. This is a problem that I have, that you guys are encouraging. Not okay with this anymore. It's like I didn't pull a measurement off of it. I just picked a number out of thin air and said, let's make a whale that's that big. And now that it's here, I'm kind of scared. Jesus.
They're 2 weeks behind schedule, but even so, the metallic skeleton of the whale is slowly taking shape. Burning Man begins in 20 days.
Well, we are building a full-scale humpback whale mother and calf out of stained glass and steel. 13 3/4. It's a piece about our environment. It's about a respect or a reverence for nature. It's meant to inspire people to want to preserve whales and preserve this thing that we live in, this planet that we reside on, for future generations to come. We're interested in putting a smile on people's faces and compelling a new idea or a new thought, helping make the world better. But then at its most basic level, it's just a bunch of friends hanging out and building a crazy thing that no one thought that we could do.
Matt runs the Generator, a huge warehouse where all sorts of creations come to life. Paintings and sculptures, as well as circus and performance arts. The great carcass of the Generator washed up in Sparks, an industrial suburb of Reno, Nevada. It's a gateway to the desert where once a year amid the dust, the beating heart of Burning Man makes its home. An undertaking like the Space Whale is above all a human adventure. Most are volunteers. A few work year-round at the generator. Others are nomads from the four corners of the USA who come several months before the event to work on the arts projects. All these destinies converge here with the goal of flying their whale in the star-spangled skies of Burning Man, followed by some serious partying in the dust of the Black Rock Desert. They're cooks, midwives, researchers, construction workers, artists, delivery men, students, IT workers. All different, all together. This gang of art and fiesta adventurers is an amazing patchwork of the best American society has to offer. Andy is an artist from the nearby state of Oregon.
Yep. And we've done places where we're doing half right now. So we'll go through, do half, and then...
He's the head engineer, in charge of designing and constructing the whale's metal framework.
I'm proud of this crew. This is one of the best crews I've ever worked with. A lot of these people working on this project are new to working with metal. You know, people show up and we teach them how to run a grinder.
Here we go, cover.
Cover. And being able to teach people how to use those tools and seeing them start thinking about what they could build and, you know, talking about, oh, I want to build this, I want to build that. And now that they know how to use these tools, all of a sudden those ideas become possible for them. And that's really fulfilling. That's the society I want to live in.
And we're going to get that flown in with the forklift. Then we're going to pause, see where it's at, and then we're going to try to secure it in the air.
Thumbs up, that'd be great.
It's being incredibly tired all the time, but also feeling really alive. Like, yesterday feels like a year ago to me. Like, I'm living so much life every single day being on a project like this, and same with all these other people. Like, yeah, it's an incredible feeling to build something like this.
This whale is not making things easy, and the day shift takes over from the night shift without a pause. Matt is getting worried. Not one of the 8 components of his sculpture has been shipped to the Burning Man site yet.
I'm exhausted, I'm tired, but we're running forward and we're making something really spectacular and amazing with our friends. And this experience cannot be reproduced by doing anything else. This experience of sitting on top of a fucking steel whale in a giant warehouse in Sparks, Nevada with like 20 amazing friends trying to build something to take out to a desolate desert for a week. It's madness. And we're at the heart of it. Like, we sit at the heart of madness.
Matt's artistic background is inextricably linked with Burning Man. His space whale is not his first undertaking. In 2011 and 12, he exposed his first work, a 100-meter pier leading to a Spanish galleon shipwrecked in the middle of the desert.
That was our first hit. I remember sitting inside of it and watching people come in, and they had this face like we had given them Christmas. Like a little kid when they run downstairs to see the presents under the tree.
Small talk and what?
When you think of the European explorers, they stood at the end of those piers wondering what was on the other end of the world. It was like getting onto a rocket and flying into space. I look like I'm 100, so it's kind of, yeah, well, whatever. And photos. And the captain, who's acquired sunglasses at this point.
Then, in the 2014 Burning Man, his reputation was established when he exposed his monumental Embrace.
It was a big, it's giant, a bit like a cathedral. But instead of thinking about the power of God, I wanted people to think about how strong they were together. And the whole structure was built to look like it grew there. Like these were giant tree people that twisted out of the ground and grew into these amazing creatures as they slowly hugged. Maybe they had been growing there for 500 years. In another 500 years, they would finally fully embrace each other. And we lit it on fire. And watched the whole thing burn until there was nothing left.
Black Rock Desert. At the end of the event, they burned the works made of wood and the man, the giant that is the emblem of Burning Man, and who gave it its name. Having completed its voyage from the outer reaches of the universe, the space whale will soon be ready to touch down. Work, 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 and more work. In spite of the fatigue and the apparent disorder, Matt is right there coordinating the efforts of the entire crew. He's the only one who can make the link between his project designed on the computer and the reality of the construction. Each piece of the whale is unique.
I got it. Y'all gonna make me dance. I really prefer building. I've been on a computer for most of my life, and I understand why suicide rates in America are so high. We're builders. Use the computer as a tool, and let's use all the tools we have to make amazing things together. And fuck the computer.
Matt's crew has another challenge facing them, just as complex as this structure: the whale's skin. Each stained glass panel that goes into covering the sculpture is a unique work of art. The colored glass arrives at the generator in large sheets that are then cut up, assembled, and glued onto metal triangles, forming a huge psychedelic mosaic. Kristen is cataloging every piece. There are 1,200 glass panels, each destined for its specific place on the sculpture.
Initially, I came on just to do general building and to learn how to weld and get my hands on things. And ultimately, I ended up helping in a lot of different areas. And one of my strengths is organization. And so this giant puzzle has kind of become my baby.
Burning Man will open in 10 days, and the first component of the whale's skeleton finally leaves the womb. Steve is in charge of the Convoy. He knows this mythical road leading to Burning Man like the back of his hand.
This will be my 17th time to go to Burning Man. And I've helped on other large art projects, including the Embrace 2 years ago, the Ichthyosaur. So it's a nice thing to do. And I think we have a piece here. Its birth has been a challenge, but I think it's going to have a wow factor. I'll be excited when it's all out there. I look forward to that. There's so much still to do. Once the whale's up and we're getting glass on it, that's when I'll start getting excited. Right now, there's just too much that can go wrong. Low boy, I would love to have used that truck.
Out in the Black Rock Desert, there are a few scouts who have come early to prepare for the arrival of their respective tribes. In the four quarters of the desert, as day fades to night, another landscape emerges. Steve is glad to get back to his beloved desert, the Playa, as the veteran burners call it.
We are here. We are back on the Playa. We are happier.
Rocked by the music of the stars, the vanguard of the space whale crew begins to set up house in the dust. The fragile, ephemeral encampment, born from the void, is open to shooting stars and the charms of the night.
We have a couch, which I'm pretty excited about. And we have lights, which I'm also excited about because I love to work at night. And now we have shade, we have part of a shower we're gonna finish. What else?
We got a generator. We have some power we can put down. Yeah, every day the camp will be more and more finished and the whale will be more and more built.
At the generator, Michelle, a local artist, is finishing her latest creation.
I've been to Burning Man for 6 or 7 years, and I never thought my classical art fit in until they announced that this year's theme was Da Vinci. And that's when I really started the clocks and the ideas in my mind of, wow, Da Vinci, he's like Michelangelo and Rodin, the classics I've studied. The theme of the piece is inside the mind of Da Vinci. And I thought, let's do a large classical sculpture that's like emerging out of the desert, old from Renaissance past, coming out eroded. And then when you walk around to the side of this big face, and you can walk inside his mind and you see his sketches, his thoughts. So yeah, it was definitely my year to say, I'm going for it.
We finished structural last night. We finished every single bar on the wheel. Every one is done. And if you guys are feeling a little overwhelmed, if you're feeling a little scared, come talk to me. Let's give each other hugs. Let's lift each other up. And let's make a fucking whale. And all I have to say is you guys are amazing. Like, we are inches away from this. We've ran an amazing marathon. The whale is ready to fly. It stands, there's plates on the ground, everyone's excited to see us. And so yeah, fuck, it's still just a Burning Man project. We originally had planned 14 days to install. We are starting our install 11 days after we intended. And so we have 5 days to install this whale for a 9-day festival, 7-day festival, really. I'm happy to see my friends in the desert. I'm happy to give people big hugs. I'm happy to see what everyone else has built.
As the big day approaches, you can see Burning Man is beginning to emerge from the dust. You can hear the faint cries of the ephemeral horizontal city. Babylon, situated right at the favorable conjunction of the stars. Matt finally gets back to the Playa, what the seasoned burners call home.
In a way, it does feel like we've been chased here. I mean, sometimes I wonder if maybe Burning Man's part of the problem of why people don't stand up to their governments. It's like, you know, there's a lot of people who work for 51 weeks a year, and they work doing fucking terrible jobs that make the system work. They work as bankers. They work in insurance industries. They work as investors, and they just take money from people. And then they come out here and pretend like this is their 1 week a year, that they're the real person. I think if you're a country that needs people to do crappy stuff that they don't want to do, what better way than give them a pretend town to play in where they feel like they're free before they go back to their zombie lifestyle. And so it's weird. I don't know how to take it. Like, for me, I feel like the seeds of the revolution are at Burning Man. For me, I feel like a new society is built from here, one that's equitable to everyone and one that helps a huge number of people, one that we can all succeed with. Like, Burning Man is a place where everyone can lift each other up and take those skills and lift everyone up when they get home.
We're by a club, and this narrow streets.
For the first event in 1986, there were only 35 friends on a San Francisco beach. They quickly decided to move the event to the Black Rock Desert. Now, they are 70,000. Each participant must respect the 10 founding principles of the event, like in a utopian dream. 1, everyone is welcome. 2, giving without expecting a return. 3, no commercial transactions or advertising. 4, self-reliance. 5, self-expression. 6, communal effort. 7, civic responsibility for the welfare of the public. 8, leaving no trace of the event in the desert. 9, active participation. And 10, immediate experience of prime importance.
What happened?
I have a ladybug trailer. Come find me.
What, this gusset? That's all? Just this, like, real wonder.
There goes Tater. Where's he going? What's he doing?
Dude,
You got this, run!
he saw some titties.
Saw some titties. Had to run to.
The use of still and video cameras is strictly regulated to protect the private life of the participants.
Bow wow wow yippee-yo yippee-yay! Holy fuck, man, this is the shit.
Michelle is fulfilling her dream, resuscitating the spirit of her master on the Playa.
It's done. It's unreal. I just can't believe it. It's been a lot of hard work with a lot of help from a lot of people. And it's just really nice to have it here. And it really happened. It really happened.
Water. Perfect. Okay, take D4, and then D3.
And then G goes like
1, 2, 3, 4.
and then left G comes in. 1, 2, 3.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Wow, this piece is fucking magic. This is 3 and 4, and I'm gonna give you 2.
Okay.
The crew feels pretty good. I think morale's moderately high. I think, you know, as it is with a project that's this hard and this challenging is some people are kind of getting a little tired and starting to understand that these are not easy things to do. These projects are not a walk in the park. But I think most people are having a lot of fun and they're laughing and playing and enjoying themselves. We'll see kind of how this goes over the next day and a half, 2 days, and see where we're at right when Sunday comes and the festival opens.
This is my favorite panel on the space whale. It's very beautiful. It is the eye of the lady. We're gonna not break it. Don't break it. It's my favorite. Boom.
Every year, 70,000 people come for the Burning Man experience, causing a huge traffic jam at the entrance to the Black Rock Desert. The Space Whale clan is beginning to relax. They're nearing the finish line.
Hi, I'm an asshole.
It's one of the best things to do on the Playa. Drive in a car with friends on the back.
It's true. It's true.
You like to do that?
Very much.
Why do you like it?
Je ne sais quoi.
I don't know.
It's hard to speak about the whale without sounding kind of self-congratulatory, but and it's been amazing watching people who have been moved to tears, who've spoken of their close kinship with whales or natures, and they've spoken about the way in which the whale reminds them that the land's dying, the way in which the whale reminds them that everything's changing, the way in which the whale plays with their imagination, the way she floats and flies.
Can you get me, I would love a chair.
Yeah.
Some people come to the whale and they see just joy. They see optimism and hope. They see this piece of art that's flying through the sky, like this creature visiting from space. Others see sadness. They hear the whale's calls, and for them, it's like they're screaming out for something.
We got a cotton candy sunset. Cotton candy in the sky. Space whale over here.
It's this big, giant steel piece, but it just feels like it's just floating there.
2016 at the Space Well. Section espionage at the keyhole.
It just feels like it's just kind of taking a quick visit, and it will be off.
Matt and his crew have met the challenge. The whale is alive and well, hovering above the desert. And Burning Man opens this evening. The best way to explore the Playa is in an art car, like this one that Andy built. Fruit of a childhood dream, this one-of-a-kind magic contraption exists only for Burning Man. To venture out into the night totally free, with no other goal but to meet people, explore the immensity of the Playa, curious to see what others have invented, to go in quest of the sun rising out of the ends of the desert.
Some of my campmates brought stuff to make pancakes, so we're gonna make pancakes and give people pancakes.
One of the Burning Man's star attractions this year is the lighthouses, a fantastic creation that illuminates the desert.
There's friends I only see out here, and they're the people that do really big projects, but when we see each other, we all know what we've put into them. We all know how much work, something like the lighthouses take, and there's a closeness that comes from that, from knowing how hard it is to create this thing. And so when we see each other, it's like, best friends, even though we only see each other once a year. We always joke that we missed what was on TV.
On the other hand, if you are engaged with the characters, you can say.
I'm an artist. I'm not an inventor. I'm not a scientist. And I don't know how to communicate to people that we're killing our fucking planet. And we're killing it. Like, we're killing it. We're actively destroying our own environment. We're actively destroying our ecosystems that feed us. And we're actively pursuing a future that will be miserable for all of us. And so I built a whale as a symbolism for a positive future, for a brighter future. This whale is about much more than just a beautiful piece. This whale is about a beautiful world and an optimistic view of the future that's created by all of us together, doing good things so the next generation can have a home.
At the heart of this short-lived village is the center camp, meeting place for jugglers, acrobats, poets, and painters.
Brother man behind the camera, I got a question. Do you have a question? I maybe give you an answer. I'm really asking you a question. Because it's an oracle.
How do we do to be happy?
How do we do to be happy? Well, we gotta get it together, get our dancing, and get our fingers snappy. Remember that we're all in one family. Get together, we get it, we do this with unity, and yes, we standing free. Moving together, this is a freestyle. We get together, remember that you're all a free child, living a free isle on a free earth. You bring it together, brother man, he's just got free verses. Yeah, how do we be happy? Put your smile on. Freestyle on.
Someone left a decent and generous sum of money attached to our coffee sign as a means to give away, with a little sign that said, "No money, no problem." And this is, it's a first for the coffee shop to have ever happened.
This is my favorite instrument. This is the electric cello. My dad got it for me when I was in high school. It was one of those gifts where you're like, I don't need that, I'm gonna be rebellious. And then like 3 years later, it's my favorite thing in the world, and he changed my life by giving me this gift. Bach Cello Suite number 1. I put the heavy distortion on because A, it sounds like fucking rock and roll, and B, you can't hear the out of tune notes, so here we go.
Burning Man is a dream. It's like any dream. It could turn on you. It can get really weird. It can be really scary, and you can die out here. For me, Burning Man's a Salvador Dali painting come to life. Burning Man is a surreal landscape full of strange encounters. Feels like you're on Mars a lot of the time. And then you stumble upon things like a giant African temple or a dragon floating through the dust. And as the dust kicks up and you lose your ability to see, people come and go, like they're coming out of your imagination. And it's amazing. You'll walk with friends and they'll all disappear. And you'll feel like you're all alone in the middle of nothing. You can only see 4 or 5 feet in any direction. And the wind's ripping and tearing through you. And there's this terrifying noise coming from all directions. And you think, this is where I'm going to die. This must be the end of my existence here. And you think you're alone, and then the dust clears, and you realize you're in the middle of a party. There's people everywhere, and they're all sitting down having the same experience, wondering what the fuck is happening. And then it just goes, and your friends are right there. They never went anywhere. They were only 10 feet away. And it's so strange.
how to carry out a gigantic artistic project in a desert of dust. Even with a talented, motivated crew of friends and considerable technical resources, some projects fail by just a few days. The builders of Catacomb of Veils decided to halt construction due to a lack of time. They did, however, open their unfinished monumental work to the public. Three days before the end, they set the catacomb aflame in the pure Burning Man tradition.
When people see media or images about Burning Man, it's always a beautiful girl with her arms up in the wind and some giant art project in the background. And that's not Burning Man. Like, that never has been Burning Man. Burning Man's kind of dirty, it's kind of punk rock. There's a lot of people who are in their 60s and 70s just exploring and playing and having fun. There's a bunch of hippies, there's a bunch of rebels, there's a bunch of bikers, there's a bunch of people who want to party. And I think the core of this place is the people.
We made it. Mamma grazia. Ti amo. Bloody Marys. Breakfast champions.
This is hungry work. Take me to church. I'll worship like a dog. Shine in your eyes. I'll tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that best. That's a good God. Let me give you my life.
How we bring the good pieces of Burning Man home. How do we bring the kindness and the sharing? How do we create a space where those who have more give more? Like, how do we break capitalism and make a better model? We don't want to live here. As much as everyone loves this place, this would fucking suck to be at for a year. No one wants to live in this dust every day. They may lie to themselves and say, yeah, let's go live in the dust. We'll play Mad Max all day long. But I don't want to live in that movie. It sounds fucking terrible. And so let's see all this beauty that we create here in nothing, and let's take that beauty home with us, and let's reinvent our cities. Let's reinvent our governments. Let's reinvent the way that we interact with each other so that the great things that are here can happen next to a lake or a river, can happen in the middle of Paris or London.
You're here on the best party on earth.
At night, the Playa becomes the scene of a huge, extravagant party. There's music everywhere, pulsing from dozens of sound systems that project the raw sonic power into the desert and transcend the crowd. The world's top DJs are there, riding on art cars that crisscross Burning Man, or working their turntables at outsized fiestas, emitting their decibels to the face of the moon. On the eve of the last day, the crowd gathers around the Man, the huge wooden statue that is the symbol of the festival. It is time to burn him and let the Black Rock Desert return to its peace and quiet. Matt has decided to watch the celebration of the Burning Man nestled safely in the hollow of his whale.
I think we burn art for the same reason that we burn the dead. But there's a deeper reality to why art gets burnt out here. And it's really hard for a lot of people to hear, but we don't have a place to put this stuff. It's time that we as a civilization say, we're putting art here. That's it, period. And our governments, our states, our cities, the people on the property are going to have to deal with it. And we don't ask anymore, we tell. This is the world that we will create. It will have art. It will be equitable. It'll be kind. And fuck you if you're in the way.
I could have done so much worse than this. is to know that everything matters now. Sitting and watching, keeping my head high, to know that it makes all the changes. Gazing and preaching and betting tight, even alone, even